turning on the light.
Cardi revealed that Offset begged her to go to marriage counseling, but she says it's not going to happen. Cardi said, quote,
I'm going to sit over here and watch the reel. Today is Wednesday, March 13th. I'm taking footage of my bedroom light surging. I just turned it on. Would like to mark this into evidence for the court and for the eviction hearing and trial.
If that's the case, that's amazing that they're working out. For any person out there in general, though, who isn't open to therapy, that concerns me only because therapy doesn't necessarily mean that they have to weigh in and you have to make a decision based on whatever they're telling you what to do. Therapy is for people in general to learn the art of communication and to open up and to be able to speak whatever's going on in here. Because whatever's going on in here, if you let it fester in here, it could funk, it could rot, and it could come out in different ways in your actions that you didn't intend. And so I just think therapy is smart for people. For anything, it's to listen to each other speak and to voice your opinion so that you clear the air for yourself and get healthy inside. It's always nice, that's very true, it's always nice to have a third party involved that is not involved, with your life. And sometimes on the outside, they can see a better perspective on what's going inside because sometimes when you're in it, you can't, really see it. I'm a big advocate for, therapy. I studied psychology, so maybe it's just something that I truly love. But marriage counseling was very, very important for Adam and I before we got married. I think, you should definitely, really love the counselor, respect, the counselor, and make sure that the counselor has both of your needs in consideration. And there was one thing that my counselor told me that just stuck with me, and I'm happy we did it. But he said, sometimes marriage is hard, and I love that he was very honest from, from the get-go. And he said it's really important. How sometimes you build walls when you have, an argument. It's really important not to build a wall so high and out of bricks that you can't, tear it down. So when you have an issue, you have to hit it head on, deal with it right in that moment. So you don't deal. But doesn't build walls. Yes.
Yeah, I get it. But like I said, in the case of Cardi, she's very outspoken already. I think she's a very open person. So I think that's the reason why she made. I don't think she's saying nobody else should get it. I think for her, she understands where she wants to be, and so far it's working for her. So I commend her.
This is the evening of, and I'm checking my calendar on my phone. It is the evening of, again, Wednesday, March 13th. It's 2 a.m. Well, excuse me, 2:11 a.m. in the morning. I want to enter this evidence into court as watching the light surging in my room, as I've complained about the entire time that I've been here as a result to the faulty wiring within this unit. Again, I'm watching the show called The Real. It's a repeat of another show that they're airing also late in the evening or early in the morning. Mark that also into evidence as proof towards the time that I'm marking that the video that I'm taking of my bedroom light, which I just turned on, in hopes to catch it surging. I'm sure that it will, as it does every time. I typically don't use that light for that reason.
And let's just say if I don't use them, I for sure want to sprinkle them out and give them out to some people. I think it'd be dope to have more genies up in this street. Yeah, I think, oh my god, healthy. I like me. I think it would be really cool because I don't know, I think what you said, but on a personal level, I just think honestly, like, I'm so thankful for what my parents put inside me. I'm thankful for the way I think and do I love. And if I think that there's a person out there that could actually need me or to help them complete a family, I think I would be doing a great job. A great service of getting that. Yeah.
Why did you freeze your eggs?
Why did I? Just in case, because I know I never want to say never. So I did it because I just want, in case something happens. I've always said 5 seasons. I'm never going to have kids. But how many do you have? Do you know if they're boys or girls? Yeah, I have 11. No, she has 11. I have 11 eggs. They're so cute, you guys. Oh my god.
You almost said a dozen.
Yeah, I know. She has 11 eggs, but they're not boys or girls yet. Oh yeah, because you have to fertilize by birth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they're just eggs. They're not embryos. Yeah. So she has 11 of them, you guys.
When do you think you might give them up?
When was the cutoff? I don't know. I look at, like, it's really weird. After you turn 40, I'm telling you guys, it's a magic age. Something, it's beautiful. If you really spend the time, like, get excited about your
Some of
40s,
that
spend
flashing
time
that you
giving
see
yourself
is
love.
partially the
When you get to that
reflection
place,
of the
all of a sudden,
TV
your
onto
heart
the
is full,
ceiling.
you're healthy, and you've learned how to
The
love
light,
yourself.
as far as I can tell from my personal experience at this moment, has not begun to surge yet. It should be more noticeable as soon as it surges. You should see the obvious change. Let's just say it goes from a half of a moon to a whole moon. And you can tell that by the way that it becomes so bright. Then I will take footage of the ceiling fan in the bathroom and the way that it drags as a fan would drag before it was burning out, which is not safe mechanically because we know that burnt out fans can often cause electrical fires as well, especially if the wiring within the guts of the complex is made from aluminum wiring, which my experience and after researching and speaking with professionals, it is in fact true that aluminum wiring is typically known for starting residential fires. So this is of great concern. And as the real estate business did put in millions of dollars to refurbish the place, they did not refurbish the interior that I can tell is worth the amount that they're asking for in rent, nor do I see that they have taken any time out to eradicate the trueness of the issues, which is the plumbing and the electricity. This is an overall experience throughout Avenue 5 residential properties nationwide. And so as into the internal parts of that particular management company, Avenue 5 residential properties, they also have a high rate of internal issues concerning management and overseers. So that stems out into their apartment complex societies and communities out there. And as a result of these millions of dollars, they are entitled to the right to strong arm people and take advantage of people's situations. The fact of the matter is, I do still have the means to back up the rent that I did the first time that I got behind and the rent needed to be paid. I still have access to those very same resources because I am still in need of those resources. But I am actively also applying for jobs and looking for work, and I am getting ready to start again to work for a family member through the state of Washington. So it's not that I did not want to pay my rent. It is that I was working, trying to work with, again, the management who was harassing me through leaving notices and trying to be overbearing and intimidating and using the position of power in order to do that, not understanding that I am licensed and certified with the state of Washington, not only as a care provider, but as a care provider for my own care and my undercare of the state. And they expect for me to do my job as a mandatory reporter, but also to do what I need to do to take care of myself to keep a secure roof over my head. And so they are supplying those services as they are available. And as I'm working with the various resources from churches, which I have evidence of working with or trying to go to charities and work with churches, and the lady, Diane, down at the Salvation Army is aware that I have called to ask for services from them as well, and she has been advocating for me and listening to me and what I have to say, as well as my own case managers at the welfare office, who are overseeing me as a part of the HIN project, which I have to qualify for under the care of the state and psychologists and things of that nature. So I have true, honest things going on, and as being a care provider, it's also, highly suggested that we do go under psychological evaluations because of the type of care that we are involved in. Working for the elderly and disabled is not an easy job. It's a servitude for the community that we are a part of. And I want to get the best of those services to them. I lost my mother in May 27th of 2018. So I've been grieving throughout this whole process with living here at Treeline604, as well as trying to maintain my rights to a roof over my head that is habitable, um, outside and within the lease that we signed here. Before the lease was signed, this place should have been deemed habitable for someone to move into. And as a result of the fact that it is not habitable, there was a fire, and there continues to be, within the guts of the apartment, electrical issues throughout the entire apartment community here only at Treeline604. And that doesn't include the rest of the properties, like I stated, throughout the United States that are underneath this same entire property management company and who were funded by a real estate company that spent millions of dollars. Obviously, there were changes that had to be made according to flammable materials that had to be removed from the siding, and people had already signed leases and they were getting overly charged for things that people aren't paying any attention to. People have tried to call code enforcers. They've complained, as I have complained, and has been ignored. This has been an ongoing issue. I'm not a unique situation here. There are many of us that are going through this within this community here at Treeline604 apartments and throughout the entire country, where these people, this property managed particularly, has places where people are living. The complaints are all the same. I would encourage people to go and look and research it for themselves, and they can find these things. Go into and look at what the people who work for Avenue 5 residential properties. Listen to what they have. Listen or read what they have to say about being a part of that management company, and how horrible they're treated there. And yes, there are good reviews. There are good reviews concerning Treeline604. But throughout the entire situation, there is always a story that matches the story of someone who actually lives in the apartments. It's just on the reverse as far as the treatment goes. But they've spent millions of dollars to make these places look good and to bring smaller things up to code rather than bringing, taking some true honor and spending millions of dollars like that means that you really want to take pride in it. You're going to rebuild it. These places were built, what, in 1987? There it goes. You saw it for yourself, and I'm sitting here talking to you. I'm over here sitting on what would be the left side of the phone over by my TV. This is where I stopped the video, Your Honor. This is what I'm speaking out about. And I'm constantly being ignored. As a result, on January 18th, 2019, in the exhaust hood in my kitchen, there was a fire. And I had been being put off prior to that fire. And I have been being bullied, harassed, and intimidated after that fire. Nothing has been fixed. Nothing. I'm going to stop the video now. This is evidence. This is the evidence that I want to, present to the court. Thank you, Your Honor.